This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Good morning, I'm John Trout. It's Monday, March 2nd, 2026. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
President Trump and Israel launch airstrikes on Iran and take out the regime's long-standing leader. I'm John Stolnis in Washington.
Democrats and some Republicans in Congress are demanding a vote on a war powers resolution. Donna, Washington.
Julie Walker reports on demonstrations around the world both for and against the attack on Iran, and the FBI alerts the nation to be vigilant for possible terror here at home.
On Wall Street, crude oil jumped last night. Stocks are poised to fall today after the U.S. attack on Iran. I'm Jessica Ettinger.
Death and potential terror on the streets of Texas's capital city. I'm Clayton Neville.
30 additional people are being charged over the January 18th anti-ICE protest at a St. Paul, Minnesota church that led to the arrest of Don Lemon. I'm Jennifer King.
All ahead on America in the Morning. Over the weekend, the United States and Israel launch an air campaign against targets inside Iran, killing Ayatollah Kamenei and other senior leaders in the first series of strikes Friday. With the latest from Washington, here's correspondent John Stolnis.
In a video released by the White House Sunday afternoon, President Trump declared the U.S. military is accomplishing its goal.
We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now it was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building.
Trump also said the death of Kamenei is good news for America and the world.
This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries.
Iran has retaliated by striking U.S. and Israeli targets across the Middle East. 3 American Army soldiers deployed to Kuwait as part of a team that oversees supplies and logistics were killed. 5 others were hurt, and the president said America will avenge their deaths.
We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more.
Lawmakers in Washington are reacting. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham tells NBC's Meet the Press the goal is to make sure a new Iranian government does not act like the old one.
Whether it's a cleric or a representative democracy, our goal is to make sure it cannot become, again, the largest state sponsor of terrorism. That's a win for us.
However, Senator Tim Kaine voices the demand of most Senate Democrats that Congress must approve of preemptive military strikes.
If you're going to initiate war, you need Congress. The president not only did not come to Congress to seek a debate or vote, he acted without even notification to the vast majority of us.
President Trump declared the next few days will be critical for the Iranian people.
I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment.
John Stolnis, Washington.
A bipartisan group of members of Congress want to restrain President Trump's military attack on Iran, demanding that they return to Washington and vote on a war powers resolution. Correspondent Donna reports there are some who believe this is not necessary, including South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham, who told NBC's Meet the Press that the president is protecting America and its allies from a clear and present threat.
This is a military operation designed to eliminate threats that have existed against our country. What are the threats? Ballistic missile programs that were getting bigger, not smaller, an effort to reestablish a nuclear program that could threaten us in the region, an effort to keep the proxy network alive that has American blood on its hands. He was justified doing this. Every president before him talked about doing it. Okay. He actually did it. He has the legal authority to do it, and these operations will continue until the threat is no longer there.
Democrats and some Republicans in Congress are demanding a vote on a war powers resolution that would require President Donald Trump to win the approval of Congress for any further action in Iran.
He promised that he was going to focus on the United States of America and put America first. He promised that he was going to get us out of forever wars. And here he is launching a strike on Iran without congressional approval.
Both the House and Senate drafted resolutions long before Saturday's strikes began. The leader of the Senate's bipartisan effort, Democrat Tim Kaine of Virginia, says, has President Trump learned nothing from decades of U.S. meddling in Iran and forever wars in the Middle East?
The United States had a diplomatic deal with Iran that was controlling their nuclear program. President Trump made the unusual decision to tear up that deal in his first term in office, thus abandoning diplomacy. And the actions both last summer and today suggest this is a president who prefers war to diplomacy.
Representative Ro Khanna of California says Congress must convene on Monday to vote to stop this.
Another war in the Middle East is not America first. That is why Congressman Massey and I will introduce a bipartisan Iran war powers resolution. America first means Congress first on matters of war and peace.
Donna Warder, Washington.
When we return on America in the Morning, Iranians around the world are celebrating and many demonstrations against the U.S. and Israel. That and more when we return after these messages. Welcome back. You're with America in the Morning. We're less than 3 weeks away from the start of spring, but with more winter weather in the forecast for today. Here's AccuWeather.com meteorologist Carl Erickson.
Well, today the greatest threat for wintry weather stretches from parts of the Ohio Valley toward the southern mid-Atlantic states as colder air meets moisture moving in from the south. Southern areas of Indiana and Ohio will see snow or a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, which may continue into tonight. A mix of rain and wet snow will spill eastward across Virginia and Maryland and include in the nation's capital this afternoon, although with temperatures above freezing, little or no snow accumulation is expected. Much of the day across the Northeast will be dry but cold. High temperatures stay mostly in the 20s and 30s from Philadelphia through New York City and Boston, with a mix of sunshine and clouds. For many locations across the Northeast, this may very well end up being the coldest day until next winter. Across the Great Lakes and upper Midwest, colder air will remain in place with a partly sunny sky for cities like Detroit and Chicago. There'll be a swath of rain moving across Kentucky and Tennessee eastward into North Carolina. Meanwhile, across the plains, expect a mix of clouds and sunshine with temperatures mainly in the 40s and 50s. Pockets of drizzle this morning across eastern Kansas and Missouri. Across the southern states, and including cities from Dallas to Atlanta and New Orleans, there'll be a partly sunny sky with afternoon temperatures reaching the 60s and 70s, even into the 80s across central and southern Texas. Out west, from Los Angeles to Phoenix and Denver, partly sunny sky with dry weather continuing. Showers of rain and mountain snow will dot the Intermountain West into the northern Rocky Mountain states. And that's the weather across America. In Boston today, plenty of sunshine and cold, high 29. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, sunshine and pleasant with a high of 71. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Carl Erickson.
Remember to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Simply search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. Around the nation and around the world, there have been demonstrations against the U.S. and Israeli action against Iran. But outnumbering those gatherings are those being held by Iranians, including within Iran, praising the killing of Iran's Ayatollah and the Islamic Republic's leadership. Correspondent Julie Walker reports that there's word from the Trump administration that Iran's new leaders want to make a deal, a move that President Trump says he's eventually willing to do, but warns that any Iranian actions against the U.S. will come with severe reprisals.
President Trump with a fresh warning to Iran as they retaliate for the killing of their supreme leader, Ayatollah Kamenei. Trump writing on social media, "They better not. We will hit them with a force that has never been seen before." But Iran striking Israel with deadly force and bombing several other Mideast countries, Israel striking back. Meanwhile, Iran's new potential leadership suggesting it's open for talks with the U.S. That's according to a senior White House official speaking on condition of anonymity, saying Trump is also eventually willing to talk. But for now, the military operation continues unabated. A person familiar with that operation says the CIA tracked top Iranian officials for months and shared intelligence with Israel. And the timing of the deadly strike Saturday that took out top leadership was partly because of that information. I'm Julie Walker.
FBI Director Kash Patel said Saturday he's placed the Bureau's counterterrorism and intelligence teams on high alert as U.S. operations against Iran unfold. Patel emphasized coordination between agencies, noting that while the military handles force protection abroad, he says the FBI remains at the forefront of deterring attacks here in the United States. Federal and local law enforcement have also boosted on-the-ground security in major U.S. cities as part of a precautionary posture. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said she's coordinating with federal intelligence and law enforcement partners. The military action between the U.S. and Iran and the warnings here at home come as there is a partial government shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security. When America in the Morning continues, the war's effect on the price of oil and airline stocks take a tumble. Back after these messages. CNBC's Jessica Ettinger is in on America in the Morning with Monday business headlines.
Wall Street opens this morning for the first day of March, trading with investors focused on war. After the U.S. launched the attack against Iran over the weekend, stock futures plunged last night. The price of oil spiked 8%. Americans started filling their tanks last night after word spread on social media that gas prices could go up.
Geopolitical events, generally speaking, tend to have short-term impacts on financial markets, even the price of oil, unless they become protracted. If oil prices go up for a sustained basis, that means gasoline prices go up, hits people in their pocketbooks.
Message of the Market's author Ron Insana, who spoke on CNBC sister network MS Now over the weekend. Here are RBC's Halima Croft and CNBC's Brian Sullivan.
President Trump does not want $100 oil. Do the Iranians seek to retaliate using their missile capabilities? Do they target tankers? Do they target regional energy infrastructure to raise the economic costs for Washington of engaging in another confrontation?
Heading into the weekend, oil was already at its highest since last summer. Prices at the pump were already higher. AAA said the national average for a gallon of regular was within striking distance of $3 a gallon last Friday at $2.98, up 10 cents a gallon in the last 4 weeks. As oil goes up, shares of airlines and cruise lines have been going down. United Airlines shares tanked on Friday by 8%, down the most in the group. But Delta, American, JetBlue, and Southwest shares all fell. Here's CNBC's Phil LeBeau.
Go back to the end of January. There was that bad storm in the eastern half of the United States, shut down a lot of the hubs. That was the beginning of people saying, wait a second, maybe the first quarter won't be that great for these guys. It really picked up momentum today. The catalyst, take a look at jet fuel prices.
As for stocks and the major averages, we are starting March trading this morning. February wrapped up Friday with a sell-off for stocks and a mixed month for the major averages. Only the Dow was in the green for February. A quick check right now where markets are year-to-date before the open this morning. The Dow's up 1.9%. The S&P 500 index, a lot of people have an S&P 500 index fund in their retirement accounts. That's up about 0.5%. And the NASDAQ year-to-date down 2.5%. Remember, futures were pointing to a drop for the markets at the open today on Middle East war fears.
CNBC's Jessica Ettinger. More arrests made in last month's Minnesota church protest. When America in the Morning continues after these messages. Police are investigating a deadly shooting outside a bar in Austin, Texas, as a potential act of terrorism after what police quickly found out about the assailant. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
The gunman's reportedly identified as 53-year-old Indiaga Dejin, a naturalized American citizen born in Senegal. Police say he killed 2 people and hurt 14 others at Buford's Backyard Beer Garden in the popular 6th Street Entertainment District, not far from the University of Texas campus.
At one point, he put his flashers on, rolled down his window, and began using a pistol shooting out of his car windows.
Austin Police Chief Lisa Davis.
Officers immediately transitioned and were faced with the individual with the gun, and 3 of our officers returned fire, killing the suspect.
The gunman is said to have been wearing a sweatshirt that said "Property of Allah" and another shirt with an Iranian flag. FBI San Antonio Field Office Acting Special Agent in Charge Alex Dorn said that terrorism has not been ruled out as a motive.
There were indicators that on the subject and in his vehicle that indicate potential nexus to terrorism.
And Senator Ted Cruz spoke with CBS's Face the Nation.
We need to follow the evidence and see in particular what motivated the shooting.
Texas's senior Senator John Cornyn put out a statement saying radical Islam has no place in Texas or our country. I'm Clayton Neville.
The DOJ says dozens more arrests have been made following last month's Minnesota church protest. With details, here's correspondent Jennifer King.
30 additional people are being charged over the January 18th anti-ICE protest at a St. Paul, Minnesota church that led to the arrests of Don Lemon, Georgia Fort, and local activists. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced that most of the protesters were already in custody. 39 people now face charges of conspiracy against religious freedom and interfering with the right of religious freedom. A lawyer for City's church praised the Justice Department for charging more people, saying the First Amendment does not give anyone license to storm a church and intimidate families. Protesters focused on the church after learning a pastor there is also an immigration enforcement official. I'm Jennifer King.
Stay tuned to this station for the latest developments on the war with Iran. America in the Morning for Monday, March 2nd, 2026 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Coming up this half hour.
Lawmakers reacting to strikes on Iran.
Hammer the living daylights out of them.
I'm Clayton Neville.
European leaders held emergency meetings moving to protect citizens in the Middle East.
Our forces are active.
I'm Julie Walker.
An Iranian missile strikes a synagogue in Israel. The impact on flights around the world. An American consulate in Pakistan is attacked. And what Americans think about the U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iran.
Polymarket under fire for allowing bets on war. I'm the new old tech guy, Chuck Palm.
Delroy Lindo speaks out publicly about the situation at the BAFTAs last weekend. I'm Kevin Carr.
Back after these messages. Welcome back, and thanks for listening. This is America in the Morning. From snow to rain, AccuWeather.com meteorologist Carl Erickson has it all. Carl?
Well, the umbrella will come in handy today across parts of the Tennessee and Ohio valleys into the southern mid-Atlantic. Rain will stretch from Kentucky and Tennessee eastward into North Carolina as moisture moves north and runs into colder air nearby. Further north across southern areas of Indiana and Ohio, that precipitation will fall as snow or a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, which could continue into tonight. That same storm will spread a mix of rain and wet snow across Virginia and Maryland this afternoon, including Washington, D.C. With temperatures expected to stay above freezing, however, little to no snow accumulation is expected. Across the southern states, including cities from Dallas to Atlanta, expect a mix of clouds and sunshine today, with afternoon temperatures reaching the 60s and 70s, even into the 80s across the southern half of Texas. Out west from Los Angeles to Phoenix to Seattle, look for a mix of sunshine and clouds with dry weather continuing across much of the region. Showers of rain and higher elevation snow will dot parts of the Mountain West into the northern Rocky Mountain states. Meanwhile, across the Northeast, much of the day will be dry but also chilly. High temperatures generally in the 20s and 30s from Philadelphia to Boston with a partly sunny sky. For many of these locations, this could end up being the coldest day until next winter. Across the plains, expect a mix of clouds and sunshine with temperatures generally in the 40s and 50s. There will be pockets of drizzle this morning across eastern Kansas and Missouri before conditions gradually improve. Across the Great Lakes and upper Midwest, it will stay cold with a partly sunny sky. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Carl Erickson.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. From the moment the news was reported that the U.S. and Israel launched attacks on Iran, which included the killing of the Ayatollah and other leaders of the Iranian regime, members of Congress began speaking out both for and against the decision of the White House, while others discussed the president's ability to wage war. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
Iran's supreme leader, the Ayatollah, and 40 other top officials were killed in the strikes by the U.S. and Israel on Iran. Exiled former crown prince of Iran, Reza Pahlavi, spoke with Fox News Sunday Morning Futures and said the dismantling of the regime is expected to continue.
Which can only equal the playing field so that the Iranian people could come back to the streets and claim their country back from this hated regime.
American lawmakers reacting to the Ayatollah's death.
You hate to want death for somebody, but he has caused so much death and destruction.
Republican Senator Rick Scott was on Fox News and said the pressure on Iran won't be let up.
We're going to continue to hammer the living daylights out of them. So will Israel. Hopefully our allies in the Middle East will join in. Our allies in Europe should join in. We're making the world a safer place.
Some Democrats questioning the Trump administration's decision to strike Iran. Senator Adam Schiff was on ABC's This Week.
This is a murderous regime, but at the same time, it posed no imminent threat of attack to the United States. They had not reconstituted their nuclear program, which the president just months ago said had been obliterated. They do not have ballistic missiles capable of hitting the United States.
Democratic Senator John Fetterman spoke to Fox News. He was critical of Democrats who've been adamant that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, but are critical of the weekend strike.
Do you really committed, or are you just going to drop empty tweets and just try to have it both ways and pretend that it really matters?
I'm Clayton Neville.
In Israel, there was damage and death when a pair of Iranian ballistic missiles were able to penetrate the Israeli Iron Dome defense system, damaging an apartment in Tel Aviv, and at least 9 people died, dozens more injured when a missile hit a synagogue outside of Jerusalem. Correspondent Sam Mednick reports from central Israel on Iran's deadly retaliatory strikes, ones that the Israeli government says will have repercussions on Iran's leadership.
I'm at the site of a missile strike in Tel Aviv, and you can see behind me here, there's actually a big crater in the ground where the missile hit, and the building behind me is absolutely destroyed. This entire area is completely massively hit. You can see the first responders. They are trying to help the wounded. There are dozens of wounded here, but there's also someone who was killed, they say. I'm at the site of a missile strike in central Israel. First responders are still working, and they're also using machines. They're searching for the rebels, still looking for survivors or more bodies. A synagogue was struck, and at least 9 people have been killed. They were sheltering in the safe room of that synagogue, and it's unclear how many people were in that safe room and how many more bodies they might find. Dozens of people are also injured. The roof of that house is blown off, and there's just debris for several blocks. Now, this is the deadliest strike so far in Israel in this conflict. Now, this is just the latest barrage of strikes from Iran that came into Israel Saturday night, and these are retaliatory strikes from Iran after the United States and Israel launched their offensive against Iran early Saturday morning, saying that Iran could not have a nuclear weapon, and calling on the Iranian people, saying that the time was now that the government was theirs to take. Now, it's unclear what is going to happen in the next few days. Israelis and the rest of the region are just bracing for a very intense next few days ahead.
Correspondent Sam Mednick reporting. While the leaders of Russia and China are condemning the United States and Israeli military actions against Iran, countries including Cuba, Venezuela, and Spain are denouncing the attacks. However, other governments around the world are reacting with caution and urging restraint. Correspondent Julie Walker reports some European leaders are fearful of a wider war.
The United Kingdom played no role in these strikes. But we have long been clear. The regime in Iran is utterly abhorrent. They have murdered thousands of their own people, brutally crushed dissent, and sought to destabilize the region. Even in the United Kingdom, the Iranian regime poses a direct threat to dissidents and to the Jewish community.
European leaders held emergency meetings moving to protect citizens in the Middle East. Britain, France, Germany, and others urging the U.S. and Iran to restart talks while condemning Iranian attacks in the region.
Our forces are active, and British planes are in the sky today as part of coordinated regional defensive operations to protect our people, our interests, and our allies, as Britain has done before, in line with international law.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
It is vital that we prevent further escalation and return to a diplomatic process. We want to see peace and security.
Iran launching retaliatory strikes on Israel. Starmer says they can end this now.
They should refrain from further strikes, give up their weapons programs, and cease the appalling violence and repression against the Iranian people.
Canada and Australia were more open in their support for the U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran, while Russia and China responded with criticism. I'm Julie Walker.
Coming up on America in the Morning. Continuing coverage, war with Iran. Flights around the world have been canceled. Protests denouncing the U.S. and Israeli action. And in our tech report, yes, you can bet on the outcome of the war. After these messages. Flights around the world have been impacted by the U.S. and Israel's attack on Iran and the Iranian response. Many flights, including those leaving the United States, had to be rerouted mid-flight. Iran targeted the Dubai International Airport in Dubai, causing damage, and one person was killed, 7 injured at Zayed International Airport in Abu Dhabi following an Iranian drone strike. Dubai's airport, along with the international airports in Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, and Tel Aviv are all closed, with all airlines rerouted from using the airspace over Israel, Jordan, Iraq, and Iran. In Pakistan, which borders Iran, thousands have been taking to the streets denouncing the U.S. military action, which led to the death of Ayatollah Kamenei, where protesters tried to storm the U.S. consulate in Karachi. Correspondent Julie Walker reports more than 20 people have died in the pro-Iranian demonstrations that have turned violent.
Authorities say more than 20 people were killed, more than 120 wounded in clashes with police Sunday after hundreds of pro-Iran demonstrators tried to storm the U.S. consulate in Karachi, Pakistan, and in violence in the country's north, where demonstrators attacked UN and government offices. The violence came after the United States and Israel attacked Iran, killing Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Kamenei. Pakistan's president conveyed his condolences to Iran, saying Pakistan stands with the Iranian nation in this moment of grief and shares in their loss. There have been ongoing protests at the U.S. consulates general in Karachi and Lahore, and calls for other protests at the U.S. embassy in Islamabad and the consulate general in Peshawar. I'm Donna Warder.
Many people skeptical of President Trump's order for military action in Iran. A Reuters Ipsos poll taken over the weekend found only 1 in 4 Americans approve of the strikes on Iran that killed their supreme leader. 29% said they were unsure. 43% of those surveyed disapprove of the joint U.S.-Israeli action. The poll also showed that more than half held the view that President Trump is too willing to use military force to advance U.S. interests. The vast majority of Democrats, 87%, held this view, as did 23% of Republicans. Trump has ordered military action in Venezuela, Syria, and Nigeria in recent months. A CBS News poll conducted prior to the attack found 51% of respondents said they would favor U.S. military action against Iran in order to stop Tehran from making nuclear weapons. In other news, a traffic accident outside Washington, D.C. leads to road rage. Authorities in Fairfax County, Virginia say a collision on the Capitol Beltway led to one of the drivers stabbing 4 people who were also involved in the multi-car crash. One of the people stabbed was killed, and a dog that was also stabbed died at the scene. A Virginia state trooper who was first to arrive at the accident was then attacked by the knife-wielding driver, and that officer was forced to shoot. The driver later died from his injuries. Police do not believe the incident was terrorist-related. America in the Morning continues. Well, you can bet on just about anything, including war, and that platform is now under scrutiny. Chuck Palm has the story as the new old tech guy.
You may have already heard about Polymarket, the app that lets you bet on virtually anything. In light of world events, Polymarket is now allowing you to bet on war. The prediction-based market platform is drawing attention for allowing bets on geopolitical conflicts, including the U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran. Traders are currently placing wagers on outcomes like potential regime change, ceasefires, and declarations of war. One particular market, named U.S. Next Strike Iran On, saw significant trading volume, over 50 million, across related contracts, with the February 28 outcome resolving after strikes occurred that day. Reports indicate 6 accounts profited around 1.2 million by betting correctly on the timing, raising questions about possible insider information, though Polymarket has not confirmed the details. Polymarket defend these bets in a statement on their site, noting that they harness crowd wisdom for accurate forecasts on major events. The company calls the platform particularly invaluable in gut-wrenching times, saying it provides answers to those affected by the attacks in ways traditional news and social media cannot. These prediction-based markets operate amid the real toll of conflict, lost lives, injuries, and displacement, turning uncertain outcomes into tradable events. Follow the new old tech guy on X, @ChuckPalm.
Here's Monday Sports with America in the Morning's Robert Workman.
NBA Sunday, the Thunder got 30 points from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and beat the Mavericks 100-87. The reigning MVP has scored 66 points in his first 2 games back from an abdominal injury. He's now scored 20 or more in each of his last 59 road games. That's an NBA record. Pistons popped the Magic 106-92. Cade Cunningham had 29 points and 11 assists. 6 straight road wins for Detroit, which is percentage points ahead of OKC for the best record in the association. Knicks surprised the Spurs 114-89. That ends San Antonio's 11-game winning streak. But San Antonio guard De'Aaron Fox says there's still a silver lining.
We need this game, just bring you back down to earth a little bit. But I mean, like I said before, we've won games in a variety of ways. We've won games where we haven't played well offensively.
Elsewhere, the Hawks scored 44 in the first quarter and snuffed out the Blazers 135-101. The Bulls used a 27-0 run in the second half to rush past the Bucks. Timberwolves dunked the Nuggets to move ahead of Denver into 4th place in the West. Wins for the Celtics, Lakers, Clippers, Cavaliers, and Grizzlies. NHL, the Penguins shut out the Golden Knights 5-0, 5 different goal scorers for Pittsburgh, 22 saves for Artur Silovs, 22 stops for Arvid Soderblom, as the Blackhawks blanked the Mammoth 4-0. Islanders edged the Panthers for their 5th straight win. Rookie defenseman Matthew Schaefer scored twice to reach the 20-goal mark. Ducks have won 5 in a row after dousing the Flames in a shootout. Blues tamed the Wild to snap a 10-game road losing streak, and the Sharks nipped the Jets in overtime. College hoops, hope you're ready for March Madness because conference tournaments begin tonight with a play-in game in the Horizon League. Selection Sunday, now less than 2 weeks away. Tyler Reddick won the NASCAR race in Austin, Texas on Sunday. If that sounds familiar, Reddick also won in Daytona and Atlanta, becoming the first driver to win the first 3 races of the season. The all-time record is held by the King, Richard Petty. He won 10 in a row in 1967. And soccer, the U.S. beat Argentina 2-0 in the opener of the She Believes Cup in Nashville. The round robin moves to Columbus on Wednesday, where the U.S. faces Canada. That's Monday Sports.
Music legend passes, and Tourette's syndrome leads to more controversy from the BAFTA Awards when America in the Morning returns after these messages. Legendary singer and songwriter Neil Sedaka has passed away. His hits include Breaking Up Is Hard to Do and Laughter in the Rain. Correspondent Jennifer King with the story.
Neil Sedaka sold millions of records. The Brooklyn-born son of a Jewish taxi driver went to Juilliard and was recognized early on for his musical talents.
I started in the Brill Building here in New York, and we were taught to write hooks. catchy songs, memorable songs.
He teamed up with lyricist and high school classmate Howard Greenfield for hits that embodied an era of 50s and 60s teen innocence, like Calendar Girl and Happy Birthday, Sweet 16. He had another string of hits in the 70s, including Laughter in the Rain. He was covered by many artists, including The Captain and Tennille. Their version of Love Will Keep Us Together was a 1975 #1 smash. He kept writing and performing into his 80s.
My songs, if I'm lucky, will outlive me. And to have these songs go on and on, I've been very fortunate. Some of the great singers have covered my songs, from Sinatra to Elvis Presley. And that's always very, very flattering.
In a statement, his family writes they are devastated by the sudden passing of a true rock and roll legend and an incredible human being. Singer-songwriter Neil Sedaka died at age 86. I'm Jennifer King.
The cast of Sinners with Delroy Lindo is speaking out about the controversy surrounding the BAFTA Awards. Entertainment reporter Kevin Carr has the story.
An awkward situation at the BAFTAs last week is still causing waves. The incident happened when Sinners stars Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo took the stage to announce the first award of the night.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
The outburst, which included a racial slur, came from Tourette's advocate John Davidson, whose life was the inspiration for the nominated film I Swear. The vocal tics from Tourette's are not voluntary or indicative of what the person thinks. On Saturday at the NAACP Image Awards, Delroy Lindo addressed the incident publicly.
We appreciate all the support and the love that we have been shown in the aftermath of what happened last weekend. And it's a classic case of something that could have been very negative becoming very positive.
Earlier on the red carpet, The Hollywood Reporter interviewed Lindo's co-star Jamie Lawson about the response.
Just because you invite someone into a space, but you don't provide the necessary resources to keep them and everyone else in that room safe by them being there, that's not inclusivity. That's exploitation. That man's disability got exploited that night.
Lawson blamed the BAFTAs for not preparing properly, as well as the BBC for not censoring the racial slur from the pre-recorded broadcast while it censored other contents and statements. The BBC issued a formal apology last week. I'm Kevin Carr.
Stay tuned to this station for the latest on the war with Iran. America in the Morning for Monday, March 2nd, 2026 is produced by Jeff McKay. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.